Oh, sorry, I'm just finishing reading this article right here. It's 33 people having a way worse day than you. It's right next to 13 hot stocks to invest in now, must read, and paleontologist discovers preserved T-Rex skin, real life Jurassic Park. You know, it's also interesting, the information we have nowadays. My dad just loves to remind me about when he was a kid. And you only got information two ways, mister. The morning paper or the evening news. But now, with all the technology we have, I can learn about the Parisian fashion trends, all the fads in Japan, or the current economic state of Timbuktu, just like that. But with all this information available, and with only so many hours in a day, how can we know what information we should be consuming? Well, to answer that question in my life, I used the Rotary four-way test. You see, the Rotary four-way test is the key to filtering through what information we should be consuming in our daily lives. We must see if the information we are consuming is true, if it is fair, if it will build goodwill and better friendships, and if it is beneficial to all, so that we may better not only ourselves, but the world around us as well. So, let's see how each segment of the four-way test filters information. First, is it true? We are subjected to informational claims all the time. Doctors hate him. He used this one trick to lose 20 pounds. Do this at the pharmacist. Half off prescriptions. Famous businessman says this is his secret to success. 3 exclusive tips. If I click on one of these sketchy internet advertisements and somehow don't get a computer virus, I have to then assess if any of these claims are true. By doing additional research, looking at the raw data, and seeing if the author's claims are reasonable, we are able to know the truth of the matter, which will not only allow us to stop wasting our time with fake news, but will allow us to better ourselves and those around us through the application of this newfound knowledge. The Rotary four-way test allows us to filter between true and false information. Second, is it fair? Or in this case, is it biased? Plenty of the information we consume on a daily basis has bias, but is that necessarily a good thing? Well, if we continually consume bias, we ourselves will become biased, and then we will see the world through biased eyes, which is not fair to anybody. I must admit, this is the part of the four-way test I struggle with the most. I like being right, and I have a habit of surrounding myself with information that reaffirms my beliefs. But I have to use the four-way test to see if the information I'm receiving is truly fair. I had to come to terms with this recently, whenever I was putting together a bracket for March Madness. You see, I'd been surrounding myself by so much pro-Kentucky media that I truly thought they were going to go all the way this year. But upon using the four-way test and realizing that the information I was receiving was biased, with a heavy heart, I changed my mind, and my bracket was saved. Because the four-way test allowed me to filter through biased and unbiased, true and false information. Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Plenty of what we see in our lives is meant for the sole purpose of tearing down. Think of political smear campaigns you see on TV, gossip magazines at the supermarket, or people just insulting each other online. If you're consuming this form of content, ask yourself, is it building goodwill and better friendships? This form of content can negatively affect your way of thinking, and it shouldn't stay in your life according to the four-way test, because the four-way test filters through information that builds up and information that tears down. Finally, is it beneficial to all? I see too many people nowadays mindlessly scrolling on their phones, doing nothing but consuming mind-numbing content, and to this I say to you, do something great with your access to information. Read a book, teach yourself a subject, meet new people online, just do anything that is beneficial. You know, I've taken this part of the four-way test to heart, and I've applied it to my life in a really neat way. You see, I've always dreamed of studying abroad, specifically in Germany. So, what have I done with my access to information? Well, I've done what anyone else would do, and I've taught myself German for the past 4 years. And I'm on track to achieve complete fluency by the end of my sophomore year in college. Because the four-way test has allowed me to filter between useful and useless information. With all the information available to us nowadays, it is critical that we have an objective standard to filter by, namely, the four-way test. We must see if our information is true, if it is fair, if it will build goodwill and better friendships, and if it is beneficial to all. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my article.